What's my purpose? It's probably the question I've been asked most recently, more than any other. If you've ever asked yourself that question, you'll know how paralyzing it can feel. It can feel as though your entire future depends on finding one perfect answer. We're programmed to believe that one day we're going to wake up and know, like our purpose will arrive like a lightning bolt from the sky. Suddenly, everything will make sense. But I don't think that's how it works. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. drreinapopatshah. I'm a medical doctor, poet, and performance coach, and I work with high achievers navigating identity, performance, and life's biggest transitions. I've been thinking about this a lot recently because I've been writing a lot more. And one thing that keeps coming up when I listen to established, successful writers is how unromantic they are about their inspiration. Whether it's Anne Lamott talking about shitty first drafts, or Elizabeth Gilbert talking about the slow discipline of turning up to the desk, or Stephen King saying that the scariest moment is right before you begin, they tell the same story. The point is, none of them are waiting for inspiration. They show up, they sit at the desk, they write anyway. Even on days when they don't feel like it, even when what they produce never leaves the page. And it made me wonder, what if life purpose works very much the same way? What if it isn't something that we're waiting to discover? What if it's something that we're building, not in one dramatic moment, but in hundreds of ordinary compound ones? Conversations that get you thinking differently, experiments that surprise us, skills that we're slowly developing, people that we're meeting, and the decisions that we finally make. When I look back over my own life, that's certainly been true. I don't remember waking up one morning and suddenly discovering my life purpose. But I do remember the build. I remember the conversations, the opportunities, taking it one chapter at a time. So if purpose isn't a lightning bolt, maybe it's something we can build one step at a time. And if that's true, here are 3 things I'd like to encourage you to do this week. Number 1, stop asking, what's my life purpose? It's such a huge question that it often paralyzes us. And for high achievers especially, this comes with enormous pressure. If we can't articulate the perfect answer, we somehow assume we're far behind. Some people think their purpose has to change the world. Others think their purpose isn't impressive enough to count. I've seen both. In reality, purpose rarely feels fully formed. And so when someone comes to me asking about life purpose, we don't spend weeks trying to uncover one magical answer. We start much smaller. Asking what's my life purpose is a bit like asking an author to explain the entire book before they've written the first page. It's just too much pressure. Instead, ask a more interesting question, like, what's the next sentence? Or, what's asking for my attention in this season of my life? What am I curious to explore next? Or even, what kind of person am I hoping to become? Notice how different those questions feel. They're expansive, right? They're not pressurizing. If I asked you, what do you want your life to feel more like? I wonder what you'd say. Some people have answered that by saying that they want more freedom over how they spend their time. Others say, I'd love a portfolio career instead of putting all of my identity into one thing. Some want to spend more time contributing to a particular cause they care about. Some want to master a craft or particular technology. Some simply want to stop dreading Monday morning, right? None of these people have their whole lives mapped out, but they do have a direction, and that's enough to begin. Secondly, treat your life more like an experiment than an exam. We are great exam takers as high achievers. You don't have to know the answers before you begin. You simply have to be learning something from every step that you take. Imagine scientists abandoning an experiment because the first result wasn't perfect. They just wouldn't. They'd collect more data. And yet, that's exactly what many of us do with our lives. We try one thing, it doesn't instantly confirm our identity, so we conclude we'll never find it, we failed. Maybe you've always wondered whether you would enjoy teaching. Like, you don't have to resign tomorrow. Could you run one workshop? Maybe you've thought about consulting. Could you take on one client? Maybe you've always wanted to write. Could you commit to writing every morning for 30 days? Maybe you think you'll love working 4 days a week. Could you have one conversation with your manager? Every one of those is a small experiment. It's not deciding the rest of your life. You're collecting evidence and you're discovering what gives you energy, what drains you, what fits, what doesn't, and just notice how different that feels. Every experiment gives you better information than another 6 months of thinking about it. So I found people that make better decisions when they stop trying to predict the future and start gathering evidence. That's where momentum comes from, not certainty, curiosity. Thirdly, pay attention to your energy. Not what impresses other people, not what you think you should want. What leaves you feeling more alive? When I look back over my own life, I see threads that have been there for years, like writing and poetry and coaching, a fascination with people and with psychology, with what helps us to grow, heal, and make sense of ourselves. None of those arrived fully formed on a plate one morning. They just kept leaving little annoying clues. They kept returning. They kept showing up in my different jobs, in my journals, and across completely different seasons of my life. They were constant, right? I only recognized the pattern because I was encouraged to pay attention to what I couldn't seem to leave alone. So looking forwards, life often feels uncertain, but looking backwards, it has a remarkable sense of making sense when you join the dots. Every time I thought I had lost my way or I should be doing something, starting completely over, I realized I was never really starting again. I was simply finding expressions of the same themes. So my lifelong love of writing became poetry, curiosity became coaching, and my interest in healing people gradually expanded to healing teams, organizations, and the systems that they work with. But the thread was always there. I just couldn't see it while I was living it. So maybe purpose isn't a destination waiting for you in the future. Maybe it's speaking to you all along. Our job, your job, is simply to notice what energizes you, what repeatedly draws your interest, what you happily spend time, money, and energy on, what you keep returning to, and what people seek you out for naturally. What problems can you not help but solve for yourself? Those aren't random, they're clues. So if you've been asking lately what your life purpose is, I'd like you to try 3 things this week. Number 1, write down a decision that you've been postponing and then make it. Not because you have to get it perfect, but because making quick, thoughtful decisions and acting on them is a skill that you can practice and a skill that inspires self-trust. 2, make a small experiment this month. Something small enough to teach you something, but brave enough to move you forward. 3, write down 3 people. Someone who's already walked the path you're interested in, someone who'll challenge your thinking, and someone you trust enough to have a conversation with about the life that you're trying to build. Sometimes the next step isn't an answer to a life purpose question, it's a conversation. So if this video has given you something to think about, I'd love to know what resonated. Leave me a comment below and tell me what's one experiment you're going to run this month as a result of this video. What's one question that's asking for your attention in this season of life? And I read every comment genuinely, so I'd love to hear from you. If you'd like more conversations like this, I'd love for you to subscribe. And if you're navigating a significant transition yourself, whether that's a career change, redefining your identity, or simply feeling stuck despite outward success, find me on LinkedIn as Dr. Raina Popat or through the links below. Until next time, you don't have to figure out your whole life today. You just need to make the next thoughtful move. Thank you.